Wilkos Refreshing Mexican Cervesa. 40 pint kit, supposed to be really good, but can we make it any better? Welcome back, ladies and gents. Yes, I am still brewing, and today I'm doing this Mexican Cervesa. Now, this comes as a 1.5 kilogram malt extract tin. Usual process: warm it up, get it in the fermenter. It comes with a small sachet of yeast and a little instruction book, which it tells you to add a kilogram of sugar, preferably brewing sugar, for a better flavour. However, I'm going to spice things up a little bit. I'm actually going to be doing 2 cans, so that's 3 kilograms of the malt extract. I'm also going to be adding 500 grams of a light spray malt dried extract there, and then just to give it a little bit of spice towards the end, we're going to be going with the German Cascade hops. Now these are a citrusy, grapefruit and quite a floral hop, so that should really give some flavour to his beer. With the spray malt light, the double cans, it's going to give it a much mouthier feel to it. It's going to give it more body to the beer, so it should be a much better beer at the end of it. Maybe not to your taste, maybe you just want the standard kit, go for it, because it's supposed to be a good beer. It's roughly 4% with just 1 can and your kilogram of sugar. Don't forget, you'll have to get your own sugar for that. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and start getting this in the fermenter for this first video, part 1. We'll get it in and we'll get it hooked up. So let me get all my buckets and everything washed and ready, and I'll join you back in a minute. Right, okay, so we've got everything sterilised, we're good to go. First thing we need to do is open up these. You're going to need a can opener. Nothing fancy, just a normal can opener. You can soak these in hot water for 5-10 minutes before you do this, but I'm going to be rinsing them out with hot water so I don't bother. Don't forget all that lovely extract from the inside of the can as well. Get as much out as you can. Give your cans a good flush. Next we add the dry spray malt. Spray malt light, 500 grams, this is a Muntons one. Got it from the same place as the kits. 500 grams of that goes in. Right, I've probably got about 8 litres or so of hot water in this bucket now. So this is where I'm going to give it a really good mix up. Make sure we get all that malt extract dissolved in, make sure we get all this light spray malt mixed in as well. Great chance to add a load of oxygen into the beer as well. And now it's all mixed in, we're just going to top it up. I'm probably going to go with about 25 litres, maybe 26, and I'm going to aim for about 25 degrees centigrade, so using your mixer taps or whatever you've got to do so, get that topped up. Alright, so I've topped this up to about 24 litres. The normal kit says 23 litres, that should give you 40 pints at roughly 4%. So I've gone up to 24, it's just the way it is, that's in my vessel. And I've taken a specific gravity, or my starting gravity reading, and that's given me a reading of 1046 roundabouts. So you can do a calculation there to try and work out what your potential ABV is. So you're going to take your starting gravity minus your final gravity, what you're aiming for. In this case it's 1008, which gives me 1046 minus 1008 gives me 38. You then times that by 0.129 and that gives me a 4.9% beer. So that's what we're looking with in this one. Your next step now is the yeast. Now you get a sachet with each kit, and I'm going to be using both sachets because why not? I could just use one, and it could take me twice as long for the yeast to, to multiply and eat all that fermentable sugar. So if I go with 2, and then we're sticking with the same game plan, so you know, roughly 5 to 6 days this should be going. And I'll be adding the hops as well, so 2 packs of yeast in. Final opportunity before we get the lid on to give it one good big mix up and stir again. Get that yeast in. Don't forget to check your temperature, make sure it's about the 25 degrees. It's not going to kill it whether it's a few up or a few down, but if you aim for that ballpark you should be alright. Lid on. Airlock if you've got one. If not, make sure you bung that hole up. You don't want any nasties crawling in there because they will be loving the smell of this. And that is it. Leave it in a warm room, 20 degrees if you can do it. If not, maybe add a heater. I'm going to be leaving mine in the garage, and I'm all out of heaters, so I'm going to just add on a heat belt to this one. I've got a heat belt somewhere, and it's got a thermal jacket around my bucket as well. That just helps maintain the heat. And we will leave that for, I believe it's 4 to 6 days. Yeah, 4 to 6 days. The instructions say before you should be bottling it. Obviously I'll be taking gravity readings and checking the airlock. So probably after about 5 days I'm going to add in the hops, 100 gram Cascade hops, going heavy on the Cascade this time. And I'm also going to be testing out my new toy, the Hop Spider. A couple of marbles in the bottom of this to help it weigh it down, 100 grams worth of hops in there, and that'll sit in there for about 3 days, depending on the gravity readings of course, before we bottle it. And so I will show you all that in part 2 of this video. That's the dry hopping, the bottling, again I'll do a bottling video of it, and that will all be in part 2, and hopefully a tasting video as well. So join us then. Until then, keep brewing. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.